Blah. Hey now, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another chapter of our ongoing conversation with one Mr. John Christ of the band Danzig. My trusty co-host, co-pilot, Ace Von Johnson is back once again as we sit down with Mr. Christ and just go through it piece by piece by piece. And what's amazing, again, just to reiterate, it's been a while since we've done one of these or since we put something out. We actually recorded this a while back. These episodes, when they're done on Zoom, they require a lot of processing. That's why I like doing things live and streaming. It's just quick and dirty. But for something like this, you need to take your time. You need to make sure the audio sounds as creamy as possible. And that's what I actually am coming here to tell you about. You will notice a few audio snafus. This is the combination of trying to be, punk rock independent as well as deliver something of good caliber. And you will notice that Zoom's limitations ended up being a thorn in our side. We were trying to find a good setting for John's guitar. What's so great about these, and somebody in the comments on one of the previous things was like complaining about John playing guitar. What more could you possibly want from a John Christ interview than John with his guitar to demonstrate things for you? Instead of just talking about it, he's showing it, okay? That is really, really cool. But part of the problem is, sometimes just trying to get the right setting on Zoom, or do we do these things through my Zoom? And you will notice that we were trying to use like the musician setting on Zoom, and it was giving us some issue. And then John, he switched from an electric to an acoustic, and that helped a lot. That is what you are hearing. That's why sometimes the Zoom was not really good at differentiating what we wanted versus what we didn't want. And that's part of the problem with that automatic, feedback, automatic noise cancellation technology that Zoom uses. It was not too forgiving when John would try to play guitar. So you will hear some of that not really work. And we did our very, very best. John did an incredible job demonstrating some really incredible things, which brings me to what I wanted to say next, in that you are about to hear something so friggin' mind-boggling. If you are a Samhain Danzig Misfits nerd, then you are going to have your mind melted when you hear John playing the original sort of arrangement of what Mother was. If you will, if you think about it like this, and I wish I had the words at the time, I was so shocked when he started playing. What John is doing is he is presenting the sketch of the song as he remembers it. This is going on 4 decades almost. And John is able to, like a magician musician, he calls forth, and that's the thing about John too, is memory, man. He's got such a crystal clear memory. He calls forth all the exact technicality of this sketch, this punk rock sketch arrangement of what Mother was when the band was still very much Samhain before it got refined and changed and turned into Danzig, and as well as the track Mother. So it's really, really cool. He doesn't play the whole thing. You'll see what he does, but it's really, really, really spectacular. I'd also like to highly recommend that everybody go and support John Christ at his website. Follow him on social media. Make sure you follow Ace Von Johnson as well. He's on Twitter and Threads and Instagrams, and he has his own Patreon where he delivers his content as well. It's always a pleasure to have Ace on the show. I really do enjoy when he joins me for these things. It's truly wonderful. And because we are taking our time, like really meticulous and detailed, we have not even scratched the surface. We had recorded another 2.5 hours with him almost, including everything, the whole recording, even though it's not, it's less than a decade of time. But there's so much to cover with John because John is so detailed, and we can get so detailed with these questions. So, we hopefully, I'm really so grateful to John for coming back again. Hopefully we can just get all the way through to the end of Danzig with John. And we'll hear also about, Flesh Caffeine and what's going on with that. We'll keep serving it up as long as we can, I hope. Hey, John. Hey, Ace, we gotta get round 3 going. It's time. It's time. What happens is we record these episodes and then, I throw them on the hard drive and I'm like, oh, I got to sit there. I got to figure out how to. And lastly, I'll say this, please, if you like this stuff, if you want to see secret parts of the Erie Vaughn interview that remain as Patreon and YouTube member exclusives, sign up for my Patreon as well. I got a lot of things cooking right now. I'm trying very, very much to release my second feature on Blu-ray. I'm doing what Glenn's doing. I'm doing the Plan 9 thing. Frumess Films. Yes, that's right. FF 101. That's my first release. I'm getting ready. I'm gearing up, and I just want to let you know about it. So you'll probably see I'll throw some artwork here, so you can see what it is that I'm looking to put out on Blu-ray, high quality Blu-ray. So if you are a physical media person, please consider supporting this release by ordering it. We're going to start with a limited edition hand numbered version before we go to the more standardized version release that will come down the pike. And I have more releases coming. We have a lot of things that will get released that way. Hopefully, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We will see. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Please consider supporting. And, for you Patreons out there, thank you so much. And YouTube members, your support is funding the creation of this stuff. Your support facilitates this and helps to take us to new heights. So without further ado, I will shut the fuck up and we will go into it. One last thing I will tell you. One last thing. Sorry. One last thing I want to say. I left in a bunch of banter at the beginning. You're going to see John's playing Led Zeppelin. He's playing Blue Oyster Cult. I left it in. You know why? I was like, no, this is so cool. This is, even though the sound is off because we're trying to figure out the Zoom controls and stuff, I left it in because it's like, whenever you're going to hear John Christ playing Led Zeppelin or Blue Oyster Cult. So if you want to get to the real meat and potatoes of things, fast forward a little bit, just a little bit, but don't fast forward too much because you're going to miss that whole thing about Mother and you will regret it. Mother! Okay, roll it, Jeff.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jeff. So I've decided to make a Patreon. What is Patreon? I don't know how to define a Patreon. Let me look it up. Patreon is a membership platform that makes it very easy for creators to get paid for the things that they're already creating. I want to do it full time. I want this to be my full-time job. In my efforts to make that happen, I've set up this platform. Is it going to work? Is it going to be successful? I don't know, but I would rather try and crash and burn than not try at all. The goal is to create enough passive revenue so that I can continue to do this full-time, uninterrupted. Why? Because I love to do this. I love creating content. I love making videos. I love shooting films. I love doing podcasts. In case you couldn't tell, I love to talk and I never shut the fuck up. So right now I've kept the Patreon incredibly simple. There's 2 tiers, and that may change in the future. The Murdergram is a simple way to extend support for all of the hours and hours of free content on the channel for nothing more than $1. 38 cents goes to Patreon. What's $1.38, eh? It's less than a cup of coffee, but it's a great way that you can show support for very little effort. When you divide that $1.38 by the hours and hours and hours of time spent listening to this endless drivel of content, the dollar cost average works out. Next up is the YouTube Casualty for $6.66. The YouTube Casualty is loaded to the gills. Enjoy the archive ad-free, as well as ad-free early access to special docu-style podcast videos, music reaction commentaries, and the like, a month before they drop on YouTube, loaded with ads, I might add. You're also going to get exclusive content and behind-the-scenes content that is not available on YouTube or anywhere else. So you get to peek behind the veil. And believe me, there's a couple of choice pieces. Most of all, more than anything, whether you join the Patreon or not, I just want to thank each and every one of you that comes to the channel, that watches all the shows, that leaves comments, that participates, that subscribes. That's really the most important thing. This is just trying to find a way to earn a living as an artist. And with that, thank you for my TED Talk. Join the Patreon because we need you!
66 cents.
Let me hear you talk.
Bucket of fish. I'm talking.
Bucket of fish. That's great. Let's roll with this. Let's do it.
Bucket of fish.
Right, right. Right. I got a kind of slightly injured digit again, but
How's that
Were you
going?
peeling carrots?
no. Apparently, I was playing too aggressively.
Oh, that's what you were telling us about in the text message thread. Oh man, and you got to do the PT and whatnot.
Yeah. You know what?
Yikes.
PT's PT. I've been there so many times. Now it's just so. Here's a good one for you. Turns out my oops, just broke that stool. My therapist, physical therapist, is also a guitar player.
Mm.
So we're working out a deal.
Oh, I see. I see where this is going.
Yep. So I go in there and he's playing a couple of chords and all that kind of stuff. And he had one of those sig fiddles. You know what a sig fiddle is?
Mm-mm.
It's a guitar made out of a cigar box.
Oh yeah, cigar
Those
box.
are really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Those are
Right.
cool.
And so I'm playing. I said, "You play this thing?" And he said, "Well, no, but you know, a friend gave it to me from college and all that." And he said, "But I do have a guitar." I said, "Well, bring it in." So he's got a little travel Taylor guitar, you know, 3/4 size thing. And I tuned it up for him, and I'm like, "How do you play this thing?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I could drive a truck underneath the action. It's so high."
Yeah.
You know, I said we call this Denver action because it's mile high, right?
Ah,
So I said, listen, let me take this to my guy and you know, see what we can do with it. And took it back a day later. And then within like 10 minutes, he was playing. You see.
down, 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 down.
I said, just get to the chorus. She fucking hates me.
Oh, what?
She fucking hates me.
Dude, I thought that was a different song.
No, right?
God, wow. It's amazing how like so many songs use the same whatever structure, the same. I thought you were doing. I thought that was
Sequence of
da da
notes.
da da do da do do da 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 do da do do da da. That's what it sounded like to me.
What's
that
was
song? I don't
that?
know. It's like some old like doo-woppy song from the 60s. I don't remember.
Okay.
But it sounded very similar to it.
Yeah, well, you know, you got like
Love that one.
right. And that goes into
Oh wow. Yeah. It's like one of those types of situations.
and that goes right into
Wow. I'm trying to remember where we were when we last spoke. We
I was right
stopped-
here. I was right here.
You were
I was
right
here,
there.
too.
I was
You
right
were
here.
there.
It was John's birthday then too.
It was
It
John's
was.
birthday, which I meant I left that part in, a little bit of that at the end, because I had to comment. I had to be like, can you believe it? John on his birthday, he took his time on his birthday to hang out with us. So cool.
And I got in trouble for that too.
Whoops.
That's what happens. Sometimes you gotta, what is it? You ask for forgiveness later. What is the thing? What is that?
It's better
phrase?
to ask for
Better
than
to
ask for
easier to
permission,
beg
or-
for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Right. That's what it
Yeah.
is. That one
True
of those
story.
old
old
adages.
adage. Yeah.
Right.
That's an adage, Jerry. I was a Seinfeld guy, so if you hear me say Jerry, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, speaking of that, it's really funny. It's actually really funny because my background right before we started rolling was this, and I
Seinfeld. Yeah.
changed it. I changed my background, and
All
I
right, on.
had it like this at my job, and they were like, your apartment looks awfully like that apartment in Seinfeld, and I was like, yeah, because it is.
That's funny.
Yeah, they did not realize.
That's
yeah,
funny.
We were jumping around. We were jumping around a little bit.
As you're wont to do, with Ace, you
Yeah.
can't help but jump around a little bit.
Or
Jump
House of
around.
Pain. Or
Jump
House of
around.
Pain.
Or House
Yeah.
of Pain.
Or House of Pain. Or House of Pain. No, we talked about the you and me. We talked about, Rick, some of Rick's influence. We sort of, I don't know if we really talked about the gathering of, so here's something that let's start here before anywhere else, because this is a question that I asked Erie, and Erie could not remember. Maybe you can remember. The Mother started off as like a more punky song. It was a faster, punkier song than what it became, and that the only part that remained from like the original iteration is the end piece. Can you speak to that at all? Do you remember the formation and shaping of Mother as a song when you guys were working it out in the practice space?
Yeah, so it goes even further back than that. So this was, there was an interval from the time that I joined Samhain and after they fired London May, before we got Chuck Biscuits, where I was going over to Erie's house and we would we would jam in the basement, and he would teach me songs and stuff. Had a stereo down there, and he handed me all these cassette tapes, and he said, don't worry, it's only 120 songs, but they're short, So I'm like, okay. And and we would jam down there, and then Glenn started coming over and playing drums, and then he and Erie would switch off on drums. They had a little beater kit in the basement, so half the basement was Erie's t-shirt printing stuff, and then the other half was like the jam room. And Mother was just that's all it was. It was only 3 chords. There's no chorus. There's, he might have gone.
All right, can I pause you right
was
there? Only because, hold on, I'm cutting you off and pausing you right there only because as you were playing, I don't know if Ace, did it start to cut out a little bit for you when he was playing some of the, when he was strumming the guitar?
It's
Or is it just
a little,
me?
I mean, I can hear it, but it's definitely dipping in volume. But I
To
mean, it's not.
to do this truly service, can I inconvenience you slightly? Take off the headset. Forget about the headset. See if it works without the headset, because I feel like this is so good. Like you gotta do that again without the thing. See if that improves it. Ah, Zoom.
So we
did a lot of this stuff in Samhain where you're playing a chord, and then if it's an E bass chord or a bass 6 chord, then you're doing all down chopping stuff. So everywhere in between, let me see, I gotta let that index finger rest. So if we're doing it, hear the harmonic there? So it'd be like, so I added the Ramones thing. That's all right. So yes, there was a lot of stuff like that. There was just 1 or 2 parts. You know, there's a little tiny bit of Twisted Cane with. Let's see. Yeah. So it was same thing. Sorry, this finger. Let me drop the index out here. There were no bends in anything because Erie and Glenn they don't bend strings, so there was none of that stuff. But that was, and then the only other part that was in there was the verse. And we weren't even at the beginning when he first showed it to me. There were no open strings or anything either. So it was like regular right in the box, you know, just A tritone, you know. And
right. That's what Ace, you were talking about the tritones last time.
Yeah, it loves a flat fifth, right?
Yep. Love is a diminished fifth. You know, it is equal interval, only more so with a drop tuning.
Yeah.
So a lot of these songs. So tell me more about that period. Oh, why was that exciting? Oh my Lord. I had to pause this interview once again because I have to tell you about Riot Stickers. RiotStickers.com is the official sponsor of the Frumess channel. That's right. You can get your Riot stickers, get your image on Riot Stickers printed today. That didn't make sense what I just said, but I'm not going to edit it out. That's right. You can get 3-inch by 3-inch vinyl stickers. These stickers are friggin' waterproof because they're printed on vinyl. They have a UV coating. Let me tell you something. Did you know that red is the first thing to go in sunlight? When sunlight bleaches stickers, if they're in direct sunlight. Let me tell you something. I had some Riot stickers, these Frumess stickers. I had them stuck outside in the elements, right in direct sun, and wouldn't you believe it, that red is still red. It's better dead on red, baby. My image is barely even bleached, and that's after 2 years. These stickers really do maintain. I really do believe in this product. And you know what? You can get 1,000 stickers. That's right, 1,000 stickers for $79. Do you realize what a value that is? Where else are you going to find another place that's going to give you 1,000 stickers for $79? You can only get that at riotstickers.com/FRUMESS. That's right, riotstickers.com/FRUMESS. So what are you waiting for? Get your stickers. Get them done. Get them done. Get it done. Do it. Do it. All right, Jeff, future Jeff, roll the video with the Less Than Jake guy.
Posters and promo cards, there's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads, we can print on show.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've got John in one ear, and then in my open ear, I'm listening to one of the dogs downstairs destroy something. So I'm
It's like what's being
70%.
destroyed.
So okay, so you took, and I'd always heard, sort of rumors or whatever that Mother was started out as this sort of punkier version. I knew that it had existed prior to
only in title only.
Got it.
Title only. There is more with Twisted Cane than there was with Mother.
And
some people say Possession was in there, and I don't remember Possession until we were working with Rick and George and all that kind of stuff.
There's a demo version of it. Yeah, they're just destroying dog toys. There's a demo version of it that I'm going to assume, as I'm sure you can as well, on my ear, that the guitar is Glenn. The demo version of Possession.
So when I was actually going to ask about this a little bit later. When you guys, you remember it at some point in 1990, you guys go into the studio somewhere in LA to work on some leftover Samhain stuff. And part of that release, or maybe it was a later release, included Samhain versions of both Possession and Twist of Cain. And on the Twist of Cain version is exactly what you are talking about, how you said how they used to play it, where it was it's a chugging, and it's a lot like cruder.
The Twist of Cain version's missing all the meat and potatoes. I always assumed that was just like what we would consider like pre-pro demos.
Yeah.
And being a big fan of John's work, I don't think John's on that. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, but you're definitely I think he's only on the stuff that was the sort of feel bad like I'm talking over you, my friend, but like you're only on those batch of Samhain songs.
You still owe me dinner, so I'm letting it go this one time.
I've got a couple dinners for you, my friend. Trust me. And
plus not pushing it, because I don't know what city I'll end up in if I trust you again.
Fair enough. I mean, things get weird. Yeah, you ended up in the wrong place. That was my bad. Well, okay, so there's the handful of Samhain songs that ended up as Final Descent.
Yeah, let me stop you for a second. So the first actual Samhain recording I did was in Lodi with Glenn. I think it was just Glenn and I went in, and he did some of the Samhain stuff. I think I want to say it was called Real Platinum Studios or something. It was a basement studio.
That's the one. Yes.
Okay. And a little tiny booth and a little tiny kit. And Glenn had this crazy good Galen Kruger amp with like these 2 6-inch speakers or something. You know what I'm talking about, Ace?
Yeah.
They still make them, but it had one sound, one thing that it did well. And that sound is the guitar tone on the early Samhain records. It's all that amp. And Glenn wanted me to come in and do a couple of rhythm parts and 1 or 2 little lead bits. It wasn't a whole lot of stuff. I mean, it wasn't even a whole day session. I think we were there for like 3 hours or something.
So he used a GK for all that on guitar?
Yeah. Weird. Right? I mean, I thought it was weird, but I was just happy to be in a studio. You know what I mean? Sure. It was cool. And the engineer was real nice, and the board went all the way up to the washer and dryer. The stationary tubs were behind it and all that kind of stuff. And, the wife would come down to change a load of laundry, and he'd have to shut it down because it would bleed over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was a kind of funny thing. But yeah, so that, and I recall the only real, I'm sorry if is that my phone going on?
I think it is. It's like,
that's okay.
I got students, right? And they have these
questions, inquiries,
group texts and stuff. And, and some of them, kids today, man, there are some kids that it's just like, can we use the term overshare?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
That's what they do. They overshare.
And they get excited, and it's just like, I don't have time to read that, and my thumbs would be tired trying to even respond. Anyway, so sorry about that. But so Final Descent, that was the one that I remember from that session is he said, yeah, there's working on the song Final Descent, and you want to play some guitar and blah blah blah. I'll pay. I said, nah, just give me some pizza,
As we do.
Yeah, and Lodi Pizza was great. You know what I mean? So
Lodi does have great pizza.
Yeah, and I think yeah. So we did that, and then the session in LA, man, that was like, that one was kind of off the wall. It was, I think there was actually more than one, and some of it was more formal and other stuff was less formal, because I can remember playing some rhythm stuff on some Samhain that I'd never played on prior, and I was like, well, do you want me to bring a rig and this? He's like, nah, I got my Les Paul down there, come down and play, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, and I just play whatever he wanted. Yeah. So I guess all that stuff now is part of the lost tapes, along with a bunch of throwaway tracks from Lucifuge and How the Gods Kill.
Oh wow. Wait, this is okay. So now question, do any of these titles sound familiar to you? Like The Birthing, Death in Its Arms?
That's definitely you on guitar on that.
Yeah, that's like the straight up, that's the first Danzig lineup.
So what's funny is, if I went through my box of old board tapes, from the studios that they send you home with a cassette tape at the end of every session, right?
Yeah.
And we would have titles would be like Grungy 1 and B.
Oh wow. Okay.
Fast D Song.
Yeah.
Working
titles.
Evil Riff in A. That's the tapes that I went home with.
Right.
Didn't have any of this. It'd be like Devil's Ride or Pain is Like an Animal, and that kind of weird shit.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of stuff that you would take home from those sessions, and then you would get busy doing other stuff, and you just never hear about it again.
Right. So for you, it's like a session, and for us, it's stuff that that came out on a release and that we've listened to incessantly and think of it as, part of the structure.
Yeah. Like I remember we did like Buick McCain one time.
Yeah.
That got released.
That's on the box set or whatever it is.
And I can't remember if that was a Danzig session or one of the Samhain sessions, sorry. Wait.
John and his weird, John always has the weirdest noises coming from his house.
Enemies at the perimeter. I've got to reset the 50 cal. Give me
50 cal. Use that joke last time.
It's not you thought it was a joke.
No, it's not a joke. Of course.
Oh, okay.
We just say that it's a joke, so that way they're
away.
They're not.
Right. Sorry.
It is a joke, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Just in case they think you're joking. That way they're.
That's right. And Cal is short for California.
Exactly. Exactly. 50 California. That's right.
So Glenn put that out as sort of like a. He put that compilation out at the what was that, like 91? Final Descent.
Final Descent came out in 90, and I think basically, in my opinion, as a fan, I think that was, hey, I had this unfinished Samhain business.
Yeah.
Let me just off put this. This is called Final Descent, and here you go. Here's some the bottom of the barrel for meaning whatever's remaining of these Samhain songs, two of which obviously got ported over to when you guys are recording Danzig.
I don't remember. Did he release that? Was that Plan 9 or did he?
That was on Plan 9.
It was. Okay. Yeah. So he was still trying to kick some content out to the Samhain Misfits fans, along with, merch and t-shirts and comic books. And he would try and time stuff around when he was going to Comic-Con or Japan or this or that or the other thing, or when there was going to be downtime for Danzig, in between cycles or whatever.
Sure.
Right.
And he would, just pump that kind of stuff out. So, yeah. And I'm trying to remember.
Well, now here I have another question for you, and this is around again. I'm trying to stay around that 87 to 88 period before we move on. In regards to there's a demo out there with a song called Night of Hate, and it was like an 87 practice, and it was a song that never made it onto any
I would love to hear that.
Oh, it's you're on it for sure. And as a matter of fact, I could play it for you right now. Would you want to hear it? Do you want to hear it?
I want to hear it.
I want to hear it.
I want to hear
Hold
it.
on.
Yeah.
Let's why don't we listen to it?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll play it for you right now. Let's see if this jogs any memory or anything. That'd be kind of cool. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
I'll give you 5.
You know what's funny with those bootleg and Erie said this. Erie said this too. Erie said this in relation to this demo. He said that sometimes, stuff would leak out and then fans would make up names for this stuff, and that, that Die for a Demon is another one. But this one's Danzig Night of Hate. Night of Hate. Here we go. And it features, but where's the, hold on. We want the whole shebang here. We want the full demo.
So anyhow, John, there I was. I was walking down the street and I ran into a guy and I said, "Hey, guy."
Jeff, you might have to Dropbox me that whole file you're hoarding.
I will. Of course I will. It's on YouTube. It's really easy to find. I'll send it to you. I will send it to you. Here it is. Okay, let me just play you the one song because this is what I was able to find. This is really cool. So you're probably listening to this for the first time since you rehearsed it or something, possibly.
As far as you know.
As far as I know. Maybe as soon as you hear it, you'll go, "Oh yeah, I know that. That's actually this, and this is not that at all." And blah 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 blah. Hold on, here we go. So this is called "Night of the Demon."
That's King on your back.
Where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of it? Are you kidding me? That's it? Is that it? No, that's not it, but that is where we're stopping. I'm sorry, motherfuckers. That's the end for now. That's the end for now. You're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait. What a cliffhanger. What does John Christ think about this demo? That's right. How cool is it that we're listening to Danzig demos that John Christ potentially has never even heard before? I mean, that is fun. I mean, I've heard those. Those are very commonly found on the internet. But how cool is it to listen to it with the guy who was playing on it and probably hasn't even thought about it since he was playing on it and rehearsing on it and this, that, and the other. So you have to wait and stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled because more John Christ is coming here on the Frumess channel. We're going to milk it for all it's worth and bring you as much as we possibly can. So I hope you are enjoying this thing. I want to thank Mr. John Christ for coming back. I want to thank special shout out to Ace Von Jotz, who's been such a great supporter of the channel and has been a great co-host and just an awesome, awesome dude. Make sure you follow Ace and John Christ on all their things. And we will see you next time on the Frumess channel. Cowabunga. Jeff, play the end cap thing that you do now.